Greetings once again, fellow modelers, and welcome. Welcome back. This movie that you're about to see now is not the movie that I made 2 weeks ago. Unfortunately, I was using some trial software recently to try to get some more cool factor into the videos. Unfortunately, the trial software was really prone to crash, was not very reliable at all, and it ended up corrupting several of the old files and most of the video that I had for the 2 weeks previous to what you're about to see now. Therefore, and I've already talked to Lance, tried to email my friend Jack. I want everybody to know, especially Lance, Frank, Jack, Scott, John, and a couple others, some of the video, well, 2 weeks worth of video. 2 weeks worth of video is gone, just gone. It's totally corrupt. I can't do anything with it, so you don't get to see a lot of the 350 refit stuff. You don't get to see a lot of the 350 original series stuff, and there are several other things that are just gone. Now, I can't reshoot the refit stuff or the TOS stuff because, frankly, I've already moved beyond that point. So in the next movie, what you're going to see is it's going to look like the refit and the original series build have jumped way ahead because of the loss of the video. Alright, well, having gotten that out of the way, let's get started. I've got a lot to show in this video. What you see now is video that I had left over that I didn't use on the previous movie that wasn't corrupt, and some new and recent stuff. Next video, pretty much all you're going to see is the refit and the original series stuff, nothing else. After this, there will be no more kit reviews for a while. I just don't have the time to deal with it. And there will be very little other than the priority projects that I've got to get done before Christmas. There are still some surprises coming, but not just yet. Again, let's get...
Ooh, look at this. The Mobius Models moon bus. Oh. Guess what? I just pulled the plastic off. Now you're going to witness me opening the box. Yes. I'm going to open the box because this is my kit and I own it, and I'm going to open the box. I know that doesn't seem like a big deal, but you know, I'm trying to have a little fun with it. All right? Here it is, the Mobius Models moon bus. Wow, I gotta say, this is a rather detailed kit. Once again, Mobius Models has knocked it out of the park. No, I have not removed any of the parts as yet from the plastic because, frankly, this is gonna have to go back on the shelf. I cannot even begin another model at this point. The directions look pretty straightforward. I will have to say at some point, I don't understand the scale at 1/55th scale. I just don't get it. I'm going to have to build a bigger one of these at some point. Really, I've got a lot more data on the moon bus than just this model. So perhaps sometime in the future, I'll get to a bigger version of this. At any rate, yes, this is the Mobius Models moon bus, and I picked this up for about $37. Got a pretty good deal on it. The shipping was cheap as well. I still came in under $50. I've got to say, I like the model. I like the kit. Mobius did a fine job. Thank you very much. Look at what I've got here. Woohoo! All new Precision Cut Masters. Ooh. Look at the precision laser cut parts against the worn out recasts. These are all new, 4 pieces instead of 1. 4 pieces, and that gives you a lip for the inside of the speaker grill plus a place for the white indicator light. Now, this fits perfectly inside there. Almost like it was made for it, huh? I've also got new indicators, which I'm going to cast, and this is just one of the new original series buttons. Now, it doesn't look right because it's not cast in clear, but it's right. So, more to come. This is Truby Howard's 1:1 scale studio accurate wall mount communications and alert unit. Aye. Here it is. The newly precision laser cut, totally remastered, crisp, clean, sharp, brand new speaker grill from the original series. You see these hanging on the wall on the Enterprise, in sick bay, and throughout passageways and whatnot. They also are the same thing that's on the captain's chair, the desk mount units, and the wall mount units. And here I've assembled the 3 pieces that came for this. Everything came in clear, and I hated to shoot it with primer, but I had to. And we've got the indicator, and this is a part that can go behind the indicator if needed, but usually there's a cutout to leave space for lighting. Anyway, there's the brand new part. Woohoo! I found this really interesting deal on eBay. This is an original series tricorder kit. Nice, huh? Now, this is the Diamond Select version, not the Playmates version. This is the Diamond Select version of the original series tricorder, which cost about 50 bucks, I think, at the time that I picked it up anyway. So I'm going to take this $20 kit, make some changes and additions, and come up with some better screen graphics than what it came with, and some modifications and a much better muir pattern. And I'm going to put all kinds of nifty electronics in here and make me a really stand-up looking original series tricorder. Anyway, I wanted to show that in its brand new stage before I did anything with it, so that as it gets built, you will see in coming months, after I get caught up on some of my current builds, we'll see this come together with all kinds of nifty stuff. Woohoo! Look what my good friend Scott sent me. Woohoo! 50-inch refit molds and parts. Whoa! Oh, I can't wait to get moving on this some more. You have no idea. John and I have put 7-8 years into this, and I really need to get this done. At any rate, so this is what, 6-8 molds, 9-10, altogether about 10 molds, when there are 3-4 molds right there, a squish mold here. I've got enough to just about finish up the engineering hall, and let's see, I've got to mold the nacelles, so that will be next. Anyway, here's some production update on the 50-inch refit. A museum quality, one of a kind, 1/2 studio scale prop replica. And here we have yet another project. My good buddy Scott says, Joe, I need this and I need that and I need this and I need it to work like this and I need it before Halloween. Can you do it? And I said, of course I can. So I've got to light this, build this, fix that and do another thing. And this is just the first video. So we're going to see this built, this lit and tested, and we're going to see the output. Fun, fun, fun. And this is Scott's Dreadnought. Now, you know, stuff happens. I'll tell you what, I was working on this thing and sanding and shaping and smoothing and cleaning and whatever, and my thumb pushed right through. So I'm going to re-epoxy this and then putty it, sand it, shape it, smooth it, and then recut the grid line so that I've got a good template for my decal. So we will see this later. Oh my. Oh my. Look at that. This is actually what my brass dedication plaques look like. These are great for 1/350th original series Starship building plaques to go on your model base. I mean, look at that. See, I could show it in pictures, but there's nothing like video. And this is some brass. This is not what Elliot did. This is some stuff I had before. This is going on Lance's Refit. Woohoo! Are we having fun yet? My goodness. Look what I got in the mail today. Some more brass work from my good friend Elliot. To be totally honest, I had forgotten what I had sent him. I've been running around in so many circles trying to play catch up. At any rate, I just got this in the mail today. What a fine job. What a fine job. We've got some 3/50th stuff here, all for blocking light when you paint. Some detail grills for the pylons. Some windows for the rec deck and back of the BC deck. And here we see some 50-inch refit brass. Ooh. Awesome job, my good friend Elliot. Thank you very much. As you can see, this pattern will go directly over the part that comes for the deflector dish array, and this is a clear part that goes in behind it to make it easy to light. So you can paint everything up, slide your piece of brass over, back it up with the clear part, try your lights out, boom, boom, you're done. At any rate, here we are, Elliot's brass. Thank you very much, Elliot. Awesome job. I got some new chrome vinyl today, so I'm going to chrome up this part of the IDIC base. I'm going to use this on the Vulcan shuttle. So I wanted to show this. See the difference that's going to make with that chrome? I've also got a collection of gems that go in here. I'm deciding which one I'm going to cast to go in the center of this. I kept the faceting around here to go along with the gem. So when I get that figured out, we'll have another look at this in a future movie. I wanted to show just a little bit of work on the Mobius Models 350 Seaview. I worked on this the other day when I was waiting for paint to dry. Literally, I had done some paint on the 350th original series and had done some paint on Lance's Refit, as well as the 1/20th scale base or model and base. And I had my hands free, and there was actually nothing broken down at the time, so I decided to tinker around with this. So I've come up with an interesting idea. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to use this steel coat hanger and make it look like the line's going to a diving bell. I'm going to come up with a little diving bell, insert this into the original base, eliminate these two rock faces altogether, expand the model base, add the details, put a couple of lights in it, and make a really nice looking diorama where it looks like it's literally floating in air or the sea. So there you go. I went ahead and painted the brass detail on the screws. And yeah, I'm going to have a little bit of putty work, but that's no big deal. At any rate, I think this is going to be fun. Too bad it's got to go back on the shelf. Back in the box and back on the shelf. I'm putting everything that isn't an absolute priority back on the shelf. Got too many things to get caught up on after all the breakdowns this spring and summer, so such is life. More to come sometime in the future, I guess. Now I wanted to show these just well because these are the one-to-one cardstock templates, patterns. This is essentially pattern making 101. And these are the 1/6 scale templates / patterns for pattern making a 1/6 scale nomad. Ooh. So you see, there is no limitation to how you can do things. Your only limitation is your mind and your imagination. More to come on this for sure. Okay, this is the sloppy table. This is the table where I do all of my fiberglass work and Bondo work. Well, most of the Bondo work, but at any rate, I wanted to show you this in the raw state. These are those cardstock templates that I took out of a CG model. Okay? After double checking, resizing, and slightly modifying each one. At any rate, this is freshly fiberglassed cardstock, and how I kept it or had it maintain its shape, each one of these different items, was by using these cheap bowls that you see or other items to put the part on and then fiberglass it so it maintains its sphericalness, or not sphericalness, circular shape. Now it's kind of sloppy looking, but I can trim all that up. That's not a problem, and I'm going to do that. I painted these with flat black to seal in that fiberglass, and this is the stuff that you buy for boats, and it is toxic, toxic, toxic. I suggest you do not use this stuff unless you read the entire directions on the back, have proper respirator equipment. This stuff is toxic. It's really bad for you. I didn't realize when I first started using it, so I'm making sure that I let everybody know, don't use this stuff unless you know what you're doing and you've got a respirator, because it will screw up your lungs, and that is a fact. At any rate, here we go. These are the templates, and I'm going to go ahead and put some fiberglass inside each one of these using spray-on adhesive, and then glass the inside of each one of these, and we'll come back and have a look at this later. These are the basic templates for the head of the Nomad. Alright, I've painted all of these forms with some leftover flat white, let it dry, and then went back over it with some gray primer. As you can see, this stuff's already starting to take shape. Now, all I've got to do is trim up the ends on both pieces, top and bottom of the two different items here, and then clean everything up, sand it, shape it, smooth it, etc. I can begin to glue these two pieces together and these two pieces together, and then fiberglass them on the inside. It's always good to use a plastic bag because, I mean, cleanup's easy. Now, the fiberglass that's spilled over, that will come right off of that bowl. In fact, I've already pulled it all loose, so it'll pretty much lift off. Now, that's a $1 bowl that I got at the dollar store, as is that. So I really don't care about the $1 bowl because I use it for mixing and everything else. Then flip them over and use them for forms. Now, as soon as all this is dry, we'll see the next step. All right, excuse me. As you can see here, I have taken and sprayed spray-on adhesive, all-purpose spray-on adhesive, on the inside of the form and I've cut up fiberglass parts. I don't know what you call it, I guess just fiberglass patches, and patched them all in together by laying them against the spray-on adhesive and smoothing them out. Now, I've got some resin in here. All I've got to do is add some catalyst, pour the catalyst and the mixed resin into the fiberglass form, roll it around until it evenly spreads out, and then let it dry. And I'm done. All I have to do after that is go over the outside with some putty and primer, sand, smooth, and shape, and do the same thing for the next part, and so on. I'm only going to show one of these because, frankly, I need to get to work. Okay, well, I filled the bucket, pretty much what it looks like. Filled the bucket with fiberglass and resin, as in the previous little vignette. Roll it around until it was all evenly smoothed out on the inside, and then used a little bit of a cardboard spatula, I don't know where it's at right now, to smooth it out. Flipped it over, put it back on the original bowl to hold its shape, maintain its form. Then I took the spatula and what was left in the bottom of the bowl and smoothed it around on the outside. Now there are some drips and runs and whatnot, but that's easy to take care of. I'm going to shoot this when it's dry with about 8 or 9 coats of thick, heavy primer. Let that dry for a day or two, and then go over it with thin layers of putty, smooth, sand, shape, etc. Anyway, that's a quick and fast, down and dirty, easy way of making paper templates into solid fiberglass and resin parts. There you go. Okay, I've got other things to do, so I'm going to move on. Okay, here's the bottom part of the Nomad head assembly. Now, as you can see, I've shot it with a couple coats of flat white and gray primer. So I've built up a little bit of thickness. I've trimmed off much of the flash, but not all of it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to, as you can see that the drips are running down this way, I'm going to take thin layers of putty and go laterally across where the drips are, and then let that cure, sand and smooth everything down, and I will have this done. Now, this is what the inside looks like. I'm not really worried about the inside, but I will clean it up some. I'm probably going to paint it with several coats and then clean it up a little bit, just because. Now, when I get this where I want it, I'm going to run a black line with a Sharpie all along the bottom so I can go at this with a Dremel and do a finished sand and paint on it. So there we are. Alright, this is something I've never shown before, at least not on video. This is a Liberty Prime head from the video game Fallout. Now, I built this out of cardstock. This came directly from the video game model that I converted and unfolded, printed, and then glued back together. At one time, this thing looked perfect, but it got left out in the rain, so it started to crack at the seams in a couple of places. At any rate, I used one exactly like this and put some fiberglass and Bondo over it, sanded it, smoothed it, and shaped it, and started a large-scale Liberty Prime model. I set it aside because other things took precedence. I'll show a couple of pictures of that towards the end by the credits. This is a 15.5 horse engine, much like the 19.5 horse. In fact, they're virtually the same cylinder. I wanted to show this because I didn't get a chance to show the other head and the other piston. Now, as you can see, I've cleaned this up pretty much as good as the 19.5 horse, but I wanted to show this. This is what happens when you use bad, cheap gas. Okay, carbon builds up, and when the carbon builds up on these hot running, high RPM, small engines, that's the death knell. This is nothing but bad gas. Now I'm going to clean those valves, pull everything apart, and do exactly what I did to the 19.5 horse And hopefully I can get this running and have an auxiliary engine in case there are any other issues. Additionally, I wanted to briefly show the difference between a brand new blade and what I tried to sharpen. By the time I got an edge on this blade, there was so much meat taken off of it that there's no way I could have balanced it. And an unbalanced blade running at high RPM will tear up bearings and cause all kinds of trouble. So there's the follow-up on last week's little engine job. All right, I've painted up another impulse deck, impulse engine, and I'm getting ready to fill it or put the brass edge parts that Elliot B sent me after I cleaned this up just a little bit and sanded some more to give it a good frost. So I'm going to get that done today, and I'm going to be adding lights and closing up the arboretum after I add a little more detail. So we're moving forward on Lance's ship. I really like the brass etch better. Usually I'm not that kind of guy that's all into the uber detail, but this blocks all the light. The brass blocks all the light, so there's no bleed through like there may be on some of the decals. Now, it's a personal preference. Either way, whatever's up to you, you know, whatever you like, hey, that's your thing. So there we are on the impulse engine. Get that done today and get some more work done on the shuttle bay.